Ladies and gentlemen, what we are witnessing is classic art of war strategy. Now, it's not being used by our Department of War. And it's not being used by Pete Hegseth. In fact, it's being used against our Department of War and against Pete Hegseth, not by Iran, but by our own mainstream media. Hello, this is Kelly Nash. You're listening to the National Briefing. And what am I talking about? Well, you know, we heard the first prong of the attack was Pete Hegseth is a Christian nationalist. He must be stopped from praying. Christian nationalists are very dangerous people because they pray to Jesus. This is a horrible thing. They make people very uncomfortable, and we can't have it. So that's the frontal attack. Then yesterday, we got the second part of the attack. Now I'll just let Chris Jansing on MS13 Now, the gang-loving network, tell you the unbelievably shocking update.
Was it an attempt to profit off the war? The Financial Times is reporting that a broker for Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth contacted BlackRock Investments about making a multi-million-dollar investment in major defense companies right before the U.S. strikes on Iran. That's according to 3 people familiar with the matter.
Wow. 3 separate individuals have all confirmed to the Financial Times, and the Financial Times have now put it out to the world, and now all the mainstream media is running with it, that Representative for Pete Hegseth contacted BlackRock just before the launch of the war and said, listen, we've got millions we want to pour into this company because we know that the returns on that are going to be massive. Because what you don't know is we're about to get into the killing business. And that's what you all do at BlackRock, and that's what we want to get in on. We want to make some money off of this. Pete Hegseth, you greedy son of a... Interesting. By the way, when you've bought stocks, now I've never bought millions in stocks. Did you send a representative? And if you did, and a lot of people have stockbrokers and things of the such, but do they identify who it's for? Like, do they come up and say, like, let's just say it wasn't Pete Hegseth. Let's just say it was Joe Schmo. Would a representative of a millionaire, because you got to be a millionaire if you're going to put millions into it, would a representative walk up and say, hi, I'm representing Joe Schmo from Cincinnati, and Joe Schmo would like to invest $4 million into BlackRock? I struggle to comprehend that concept. But anyway, we move on. Chris Jansing continues. She's talking to, his real name's Richard, but, you know, his friends call him Rick Stengel. And, boy, he's very concerned about this report.
I think, Rick, the seriousness of this, were it to be true, cannot be overstated. But does it matter if, according to the Financial Times reporting, no investment was actually made? Does that make a difference?
No, it doesn't. Not in terms of the law.
Of course not. Yes.
Conspiracy, all of those things. It doesn't necessarily have to have the investment made. And I think your point that today would have been the perfect time for the defense secretary to say, no, this isn't true. This had nothing to do with me. I don't know anything about it. It can't be overstated how serious this is.
Can't be.
And in a functioning democracy, you'd have cabinet members resigning over this. And you'd also have Congress investigating it and also contemplating the impeachment power. I mean, Article 2 says that for executive officers, treason, bribery, other high crimes and misdemeanors that is the standard for impeachment.
Pete Hegseth has committed treason, according to Rick Stengel. I mean, that's an offense punishable by death, as we heard with the seditious 6. But anyway, if you don't know who Richard Stengel is, longtime hack. This guy ran Time magazine for about 400 years. And then after he named Obama the Time Person of the Year, Obama rewarded him with a place in his administration. So he went in as the Undersecretary of State for Public Diplomacy and Public Affairs. Boy, that sounds important. And after that all came to an end in 2018, or 2016, I should say, then he went back to Time Is Time even still published? I don't even know. And then he went back and worked for Joe Biden on the presidential transition team. So, I mean, obviously, very biased guy, Richard Stengel, and a hack. But to his bigger point, he's saying that the accusation was made in the Financial Times that morning, and we should already have people resigned, and we should already have people beginning procedures to impeach Pete Hegseth, and we should be setting up for a trial. And why hasn't Pete Hegseth even denied it? He should have done it this morning when he was on stage. Well, I don't think that they heard about it yet. But shortly thereafter, this was the official statement from the Department of War. This allegation is entirely false and fabricated. And by the way, they're retweeting the Financial Times headline. Their headline was, Pete Hegseth's broker looked to buy defense fund before Iran attack. And then here's the official response. This allegation is entirely false and fabricated. Neither Secretary Hegseth nor any of his representatives have ever approached BlackRock about any such investment. This is yet another baseless, dishonest smear designed to mislead the public. We demand an immediate retraction. Secretary Hegseth and the Department of War remain unwavering in their commitment to the highest standard of ethics and strict adherence to all applicable laws and regulations. So, I don't know. Does that make you feel any better, Richard, that they did deny it and that they're demanding an immediate retraction? And you know what? Pete Hegseth's friends with Donald Trump, or at least friendly with Donald Trump. And Donald Trump has a history of suing over things like this. Perhaps Secretary Hegseth is lining up his legal defense to go after the Financial Times. Because when you have three people, none of whom are named, confirming, how do we know you have three people? If none of them are named, and why would there be three people? That's another question I would have to ask. None of this story makes any sense at all if you just scratch it. It's like a scratch and sniff. You scratch it, scratch, and sniff. This smells like crap. This smells like BS. This is not right. This is not right. How could it be right? Again, some broker approaches a company and says, we'd like to buy your stock. Well, it's available on the market. I mean, why are you coming to me? Okay. Well, because I want to let you know that it's Pete Hegseth. Oh. I mean, if Pete Hegseth was doing this, wouldn't you think he would say, the reason I'm using a broker instead of going myself is I want it to be secret? No, tell them. Please let them know that it's me, Pete Hegseth, and I'm about to launch a war. I've already got the president's ear. Me and Benjamin Netanyahu. Is Netanyahu in on this too? Did Netanyahu send a representative over to get in on the BlackRock stock? I mean, this is so outlandish and outrageous, and yet it plays perfectly for what the Democrats think of Republicans. Oh my gosh, they're just using the military to make money. Gosh, they don't even care about the people dying. They don't care about that. They don't care about the high oil prices. They don't care about the gas prices because they're getting rich. Oh, they're making so much money. That's not even close to the truth. It's not even in the realm of the truth. But that is, again, if you want to go back to the art of war, there's several times that it's referenced, the two-prong approach. You get the first prong where you engage the enemy and you try to hold them in place. All right, so we got them with the Christian national thing. We're going to hold them in place. Then an indirect, unconventional, bring in a separate force. Because, according to the art of war, the enemy can't defend both sides. He can't defend the flank while defending the front. Then you're also dividing his energy. This is I think it was in chapter 5. Conquer. How to divide and conquer. That's what they're trying to do here. Also, it's a psychological, strategic. Yeah, so that's another chapter in the book. You're using direct 1, the psychological, disrupting the enemy's strategy. Number 2, physically attack the field. I mean, look, obviously they can't physically attack Pete Hegseth, but this idea of having 2 separate attacks happening at the same time on the same guy. Is it a coinkadink? I tend to not think that it is a coinkydink.
Your escape from the mainstream echo chamber. The National Briefing.